Guys, well played. Brilliant result. Breathtaking second half. Gabriel, personally for the two of you with your goals, but also for the team, how special a night was that?
I think it was amazing, It's always hard to play against them, They have a brilliant players. They come here all the time and they hurt us, And then obviously it was clean that at the beginning of the game they tried to delay the game. Everyone could see that, but, the mentality of this team is something that really, really grow. And then each game is growing even more. So I think we won today because of the mentality.
And did we see tonight how much you've missed this guy?
For sure. I said after the last game straight away when they asked me about him, at the moment he stepped on the pitch, you could see the difference of, our back line, the way we defend. This guy loves to defend the same way I love to attack. And then obviously he loves to score goals as well.
So your teammates have missed you. How much have you missed being able to help them out on the pitch?
First, I want to say thanks God, because it was a bit difficult days for me. And I always want to help the team, but now I'm so happy to be back. And yeah, I think today was a brilliant day for everyone, how we work together. And yeah, I think we need to keep going. And yeah, we are so happy.
How important was your goal? Well, to you, but also to the team, because the first half was difficult, wasn't it? Really sort of complicated for Arsenal.
Yes, like Gabi said, it's very difficult to play against them. They want to delay the game, but we know we play at home, and the second half we just pushing, and yeah, we scored the first goal, and after the team was unbelievable.
And how special was your goal to you? You started the year with a goal. You'll remember on New Year's Day against Brentford. You end the year with a goal, but we all know in between times it's been very, very difficult for you.
It's very clean that why I'm wearing this T-shirt, because Jesus obviously saved my life from the beginning when I was born, but I didn't know that. And then obviously through the tough moment in my life, I realized that we are nothing without Jesus. So I want to glorify his name because he make a huge difference in this tough moment. So now in the shines moment, I want to glorify his name because, to start the year, the way I was playing, confidence back. And then for some reason, the Lord stopped me. And then I could learn a lot of things, what I can do better as a person and then and as a human being. So, yeah, I think it's amazing how Jesus work on our lives, Sometimes you just keep doubting yourself, but you never know what's going to happen, what Jesus prepare for you. So I just say keep going, trust in the process and trust in Jesus.
Okay, well spoken, both of you. Gabriel Jesus, I have one more job for you. Could you give this player of the match to Big Gabby?
Well deserved.
Thank you, mate.
Top.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Gabby's back in the team then and on the score sheet tonight. When you consider that Aston Villa arrived at the Emirates Stadium, the form team in the Premier League, having won 8 in a row in the league, 11 in a row in all competitions, did you expect a scoreline like that?
No, I didn't expect that. Not the way Villa have been playing, especially in their second halves. But I do know what Arsenal are capable of and the chances. We even showed at the start of the game, the chances that are being created, especially by Saka, and they've not been taken. But today was different. I thought the captain, Ødegaard, was fantastic. Obviously, Gabby Magalhaes coming back and being in that team is always going to make us stronger. Same with Saliba. When we played them, when we played Villa, we didn't have these two players. And it was like a basketball match. It played into Villa's hands. But today, the way we played, we felt like a lot more control, especially like the guys were saying Villa was slowing the game down, wasting time. That was getting people frustrated. But then you just play through that. And once the first goal came, you kind of felt like there could be more.
Jimmy, before the game, you made a very big point a couple of times about, this is Arsenal Football Club. They shouldn't just be winning games 1-0, as they had been labouring, the last couple of matches. Are you not entertained?
I was entertained today. And that's how I have to be entertained. And that's how Arsenal has to play. And they deserved everything they got today. And they didn't help back after the 1-0. And that's what my argument was. They get in front, their nose is in front, and then they are scared to get a goal against. And instead of not thinking about it and just play for the second goal. And then when the second goal comes, play to make the 3-0. Punishing teams off. Don't feel sorry for teams. Punish them off. Go and get yourself another goal. Feel good. Because next match, you still have that feeling, but it starts at 0-0. And when you have got still that feeling of being in that right zone, you go different in matches. And today, they did the opposite that they have been doing before, and that was really good to see.
Yeah, and against the Villa side, as we mentioned, was the form team, and also I think for a lot of people, the fact that they had moved up to third, an opportunity tonight to move level on points with Arsenal with the victory on a ground where they have done well in the last couple of seasons. Just how big of a statement does this feel like from Arsenal for you?
Well, it's a massive statement, and it's even more of a statement to Villa, to let Villa see the levels that you probably have to get to. I think Villa will have learned a lot by that, because, like you asked me, I wasn't expecting to be 4-1, especially, like I say, the way Villa have been playing. But Arsenal, they are in a good frame of mind. You know what I mean? They haven't been scoring as many goals as they should have, but they have been making chances. And for so long as you're making chances, then, you know, it's up to people to take them. And if you take them, you are more comfortable in the game. Yeah. We've done that today, and that's why we look more comfortable. Hopefully, going forward, we can do the same, because I don't want to sit here thinking it's only going to be 1-0 and thinking, are they going to score? Like we've seen in previous games, are we going to give away a goal to like a Wolves or something? So I would love to see them play like this on a weekly basis, but it doesn't work like that, especially when you're going for the league.
No, you're right. It doesn't always work like that, but it doesn't also always work 1-0 and go and defend.
No.
You know, today they 1-0 and they kept on going. They kept on pressing. They kept on playing in Aston Villa's half. And Aston Villa could not come out. And then opportunities come. And what they did really well, they punished them off. You know, Trossard, great goal. Odegaard, great pass for Subimendi, you know. And Jesus, when he came in, you know, very direct and took his goal really, really well. Yeah. And at that time, when Jesus scored, there were 6 people of Arsenal players around the box. And that is refreshing to see. Yeah. And that has not been in the past.
Seeing Arsenal side playing some football, playing some expansive stuff. And in the end, after the goal, you know, they really did start to play, and they really did take Villa apart tonight.
Jimmy, it was so close at half-time, goalless then. Arsenal seemed to just shift into another gear, and now they're 5 points clear at the top.
Yeah, and deservedly so. Onana had to come off half-time, and you could see the difference. But nevertheless, take nothing away from Arsenal's performance in the second half. They looked a lot sharper, they looked a lot stronger. Obviously the 1-0 helped with Gabriel from a set piece, and then from there they didn't look back. And this is the Arsenal that I want to see. When they score 1-0, they go for that 2-0 and 3-0, and that's what they did today. And they got the 2 and 3-0. And they just looked, after the 1-0, so strong, so superior, so much better, and in control. Second goal was a hell of a goal, beautiful goal, with a beautiful pass from Odegaard. And well done, Arsenal.
Huge result for them. Celebrations all round at the Emirates Stadium. Gabriel Jesus, how delighted are you for him? His first Premier League goal in a year.
I'm absolutely delighted for him, because you know, it's just a long, hard road. You know, I've seen players on that journey. You know, especially a player whose future's in the balance. What's going to happen? Is he going to come back to as good as he was? And what we've seen up to this point, after being out for a year, is that he's looking sharp. And it's great to see him get that goal. You know, it's great to see him coming back now at a time when we do need all the players back now to do their part. And he's come back, and he's given us a little bit of energy when he comes into the team. It feels like there's a little buzz, a little bit of energy about him, and it's great to see him get his goal. Fantastic to see him get a goal.
Perhaps that could come in the second half. It didn't. Arsenal were emphatic
Yep.
and really cemented their place now at the top of the table at this really crucial point in the season.
Yeah, I think there's been a little talk over recent weeks that they've needed own goals and they've had some tight victories that weren't kind of, flowing properly as we're used to seeing Arsenal. What it was to be how they kind of progress through a game and get better going on. Arsenal didn't allow it. Too strong, too aggressive, too thorough, too strong off the bench as well, and important players being back, Gabriel being an absolute beast of a defender, not just the defensive side, of course, of what he does in the box, attacking set pieces as well. So strength throughout, hunger throughout, desire throughout, and just weren't allowing Villa any type of momentum shift, which is what they've used over the last 4 or 5 games.
Well, speaking of the momentum shift, which is what we expected in the second half, it came from Arsenal, not Aston Villa. What did Arsenal do different in the second half that allowed this scoreline?
They allowed their football to play the tension out of the game, and they finished the chances and got the goals, and all of a sudden you saw the difference in the goal in the two teams. People coming off the bench made a difference. But if I can talk about the two Gabriels, and I'm talking one, the defender, who's not only an outstanding defender in what he does defensively, he brings a spirit to this football club that they miss when he's not there. And then Gabriel Jesus coming on with that goal, with his first touch, could be so important for Arsenal to have somebody like him around the football club as they go into the second half of the season, with Gyökeres not scoring goals particularly. And I saw one shot which I thought was really interesting right at the end of the game, where Gyökeres went up to Jesus and was the person who's slightly disappointed tonight. It's Victor Gyökeres, because 4 goals have gone in for Arsenal and he's not got one. And that's what he was brought to do. But this squad, this group, are going to win it through goals coming from different areas of the pitch. And if they would end up winning the title and Gyökeres only gets 8 or 9 goals, that's still a job well done.
OK, well, you mentioned the two Gabriels, so let's hear from them both. For Arsenal, and 2 pretty proud players there, and as they should be. 4 goals, bookended really by those 2 players. How key are they to Arsenal's squad?
Well, I talked about what Gabriel, the defender, brings to the team in not just defensive work, but the set pieces. I mean, every set piece that goes in, he's involved in. You can see the Aston Villa players are so nervous around that. But Gabriel Jesus may have a really important role on days when it isn't working for Gyökeres, or they play a slightly different team or different formation. He's a title winner with Manchester City. He's a sharp, incisive. He's had time out of football that he would be thinking about, getting back in and what he can do. So that's a really big bit of business. Let's not forget Kai Havertz is another player who can come back as well. So the bench is stacked, and the bench will play a big part of Arsenal going to win this title.
Declan Rice wasn't playing today. They've missed certain players throughout this season, and I think Lee Dixon talked about it in the commentary. The squad is so strong, they're missing nobody. Can almost like anybody can be out. Saliba's been out, Gabriel's been out, Havertz's been out a long time. The star players have been out, but they can bring people in. Martin Odegaard does a mention for me as well, because he hasn't been playing great. The last few games when they needed him to step up a little bit, I think he's been excellent. He assisted a brilliant ball into Zubimendi for his goal, scored last time at the weekend. He's really starting to find his form. You add that to the squad and to the new players, and big Gabriel coming back defensively, they're going to take some stopping.
They are. And now they have the... what's so interesting, as we were speaking about it before we really began our coverage today, you look at where Arsenal were a few weeks ago, they had a chance to really extend their lead at the top of the table, and then you look at where they are today, and they had a chance to be caught by Aston Villa.
This was big today. This was a statement. This was like the nervousness and the people talking about the pressure and everything closing up. That was, against the most informed team in the Premier League, and they put 4 goals past them. And I think that's another step now to go into 2026 and really push on again and trying to get that gap that they had, what was it, like 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, not only did they put 4 goals past them, but they put all 4 goals past them in the second half, which has been Aston Villa's strongest performance in their recent games. It wasn't a clean sheet, though, for Arsenal. Ultimately, Ollie Watkins did.
There have been goals around the Premier League this evening, except for in our feature game at the Emirates Stadium, where it is incredibly close. Let's look at the best chance, perhaps, for Aston Villa in the first half, and that came from Ollie Watkins, just 13 minutes in.
Yeah, well done from Ezra here to win the ball from the striker, and then he passes it. But Watkins, we expect a lot better from him in that situation. Again, Ezra really well. Watkins is waiting for the ball. Good pass from Ezra. Open up your body more or take it with your left. You have to minimum hit the target there. without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
This is the kind of chances, you know, as an Aston Villa striker, away from home, at Arsenal, that you are going to be waiting for, and you might only get one.
Are you shooting there or passing?
No, I am shooting, but he has got also an opportunity to pass into his midfielder who is coming. I think it's Rodgers that is coming late into the box.
Okay. Here is that moment again, just to show Wrighty, maybe get your thoughts on this one?
No, because there's no way, as a striker of his calibre, he's supposed to be finishing that. Of course, there's a pass on, but like, you've got blinkers on at this moment. Because this ball's coming to you, you can see it coming. He just didn't sort his feet out quick enough there. You see it come off his ankle.
Let's stick with you. Best chances for Arsenal in the first half came from Victor Gyökeres.
Yes. You know, there's two good headers. Good headed chances, I should say. This one, I think he's trying to hit that back where it's coming from. Obviously, it's almost like he's heading it back when he can't see through the back of the guy's head. But I think you just got to do everything you can to keep it down.
He needs to do better for me.
I think so. Yeah, you have to get that on target. But I think he does good in this. The movement we're all asking him for, to get yourself in front, and you just need to glance that. Can't put too much on it. Jimmy will know.
Yeah.
You just need to get any little clip on it because it's low enough. You don't need to put anything on it so you can take it over the bar. It's low enough. You just let that flick your head. You don't need to make it